I've been facing scripts, programs, and patterns within my mind and within my body which have been trying to convince me that I'm not free. That my freedom is a beautiful idea to play with and theorize with my mind, but something that is difficult to actually embody. Maybe that difficulty is there. Maybe it requires work, willpower, devotion, and even warfare. But the more I confront these parts of myself, the pains, the external programs, the internal programs, the traumas, the wounds, the conditioning, the stories, I've been realizing I don't actually believe in these things as much as I believe and I know of the sanctity of my free will and of God. I don't believe in these things. I know. And when I bring that knowledge into my confrontations, when I face my programs of self-limitation with my eyes and my heart set upon my prayers to God, set upon my devotion, set upon my belief in my will's ability to overcome and to fight for my freedom. I have been witnessing the temporary nature of these scripts, these programs, these illusions of suppression and control. Now I could speak about all the externalities in the world, which are themselves illusory, though they may appear real. My response to these things have been to go within, because I know that that is where my will can induce change. Perhaps I cannot take down certain material structures over which I have no control. But there are certain patterns of behavior that I have within my life where I have the ability to say no to them. To say, I don't actually feel like this helps me in any way. I don't actually feel like this nourishes my soul. I don't actually feel like this brings me closer to God. I don't feel like this is in alignment with who I truly wish to be. I don't truly feel that this is in alignment with my soul's purpose. Perhaps it once was. Perhaps it served as a lesson of contrast. Perhaps it taught me of the pains which I have imposed upon myself throughout my entire life. Such as this fracture in my collarbone from the times when I was drinking myself to death. Just because the echoes of that past, of that version of me which I once was, wove with his will and my will certain patterns of behavior, of avoidance, of negation, of limitation, of pain, of self-disgust, of hatred, and of hell. That doesn't mean that these things are permanent and that my will is powerless against them. And it especially does not mean that God is powerless against them. God dissolves all illusion with truth. And anything that is ephemeral, that is temporary, that lasts only a fleeting moment, is destined to return to God. So I've been asking myself, knowing of the eternity of my soul, co-eternal with God, belonging to God, and that my will comes from a transcendental and eternal place that has the ability to actually shift material causal chains, material programs within my body, which the scientific materialists will say is a closed system, is inalterable. I know from experience that my will has an ability to overcome these karmic chains. The karmic chains of my pains, of my delusions, of my avoidance patterns, drinking, eating shit food and poison, numbing myself to death. My will has an ability to say no, and that ability is sacred. And it also has an ability to say yes. And to choose what it is that it will say yes to. Today, I choose to say yes to this magnificent beach, to the sun, to God, to nature, to Mother Earth, to my soul, to my belief in my ability to become free for myself and for the world, to make my acts of freedom, acts of rebellion against all forms of freedom suppression. And quite frankly, I've been fighting for this freedom for quite some time, for the past 34 days that I've been eating only fruit. And I've been confronting these patterns within me. And I have, with my will, been saying yes to them, refusing to let them go. But something has clicked. In a way that is embodied. Like I've been fighting for control and sovereignty over my body and my soul and my heart with these old programs of who I used to be. Self-destructive, self-loathing. Fearful. Detached. The more I've been fighting for my freedom, the more I've been confronting these parts of myself and pouring love and awareness into them. The more I've been going within and feeling what is at their root. The weaker their hold has become upon me, and the stronger my freedom. Which is not this thing which needs to control and impose itself. It is the natural condition of my being. My freedom is who I am. My sovereignty is my soul. So it's not like I have to impose this freedom upon myself. It's just a matter of shedding the layers, of going into the programs I've imposed upon myself, of limitation, of control, of illusion, of self-deceit. And perhaps which were imposed upon me externally. That question doesn't matter right now. I have my will. I have my freedom. I have my ability to go inward and confront these things from within and to release them. With gratitude and grace. And I say all of this while still on this journey. The specters, the programs, the ghosts, they're still going to come and try and tempt me to fall back into old ways. But I have reached a point, and I've clicked into a point today. We're choosing freedom. We're choosing sovereignty. We're choosing alignment with my prayer. Feels more inviting. It feels easier. It's not such a fight anymore. It is simply, this is what I said I would do. I'm going to do it. This is a promise that I made to myself. I will fulfill that promise. This is the truth that I believe in, and the opposite is falsity. I choose to embody my truth. And while the falsity and the deceit and the delusion and the clinging to the comforts of the scripts and patterns, it has its comforts. It has its instantaneous rewards. It has its illusions of freedom and liberation, temporary release from the pain, the karmic weight of existence. These pleasures are illusory and ephemeral. And on the other side of them, when you choose your truth, when you choose your sovereignty, when you choose your soul, your freedom, and God, and you cultivate this relationship with your heart and with your inner being on every level, the natural condition is presence and peace and joyful ecstasy, alignment with the natural condition of the world. And at first, it's a battle, it's difficult, because the patterns are so deeply enmeshed, so deeply rooted, so strongly clinging. But day by day and breath by breath and moment by moment, you cultivate your freedom, your remembrance, your sovereignty, your ability to choose whether or not these programs will remain. And just like the programs and the pains, they aggregate over time and become harder to face. When you choose your freedom and when you choose your sovereignty and you choose God, every single time that you make that choice, it also aggregates. And it strengthens within your being. And the remembrance becomes more clear. And the ease with which it flows becomes more graceful. So at first, the reclamation of your freedom does require some control, does require some imposition of discipline. And it still will, even for me, a tremendous amount. Commitment to our choices. But when we reconnect with who we truly are, then we naturally act from that place, which is one of innate freedom. And the layers shed as a natural process and byproduct. It simply happens and it takes care of itself. And when it comes to the synchronistic mirror of reality, where perhaps right now all of humanity is experiencing impositions of false control, of illusory control, of limitation. Over time, I trust and believe and I have faith that these things also will dissolve. And within the micro instantiations of your own reality, as you walk through the world and your reality generation field of your mind aligned with your heart, with your soul, with God, the mirrors that reality will offer you, the opportunities, the people, the systems, the creations, they will reflect back to you the liberation which you have brought to yourself. And you will come together with people who are doing similar work within themselves, who are confronting their pains, their programs, deprogramming themselves, reprogramming themselves, choosing the script, aligning the script with God, and in fact, not even choosing, allowing God to choose. And that's a whole other layer to the question of freedom. I tell you, choosing God feels infinitely better, feels infinitely more free than choosing the false comforts of all the pains, of all the avoidance, of all the false pleasure, which feeds upon these weaknesses of your own will. I'm going to leave it at that. And I pray to be guided to let my actions and my embodiment speak for me. That these be not words merely, but continuations of my becoming. And that this be not about me, that this be about the freedom of all of humanity, of our children, of mothers, fathers, daughters, and sons, to return to that innate state of love and freedom within, and to bring that to one another. In a way that heals, in a way that liberates, and in a way that amplifies this truth into the world and far beyond. Belief and faith and choice. When you align these with God within yourself, so many things which have appeared impossible to overcome will drop like flies. And what will remain is truth and sovereignty and freedom, universal, all in reconnection with God. Thank you. May it be so.